Hey folks, this guide will teach you how to use Nightmare Bringer. Let's talk about the stats on the Soul Core, beginning with its special effects. The first being an increase to the player's melee damage versus corrupted enemies, and the second being an increase to the amount of anima gained when the player's yokai weapon is awakened. At a max rank of 30, the melee damage versus corrupted enemies scales up to a 16.6%, while the anima charge with awakened weapon scales up to a 21.5%. The yokai ability itself is referred to as Sanmyo Storm. Swing the Sanmyo blade to summon forth a tornado of fire, water, and lightning. The anima cost is one of the highest at 10, and the attunement cost is also on the very high end at 10, slightly lower than Otakimaru. The player only absorbs yokai pools when they activate the yokai ability while standing in the yokai pool, not if or when the tornadoes pass over them. Despite the description mentioning a Samyo blade, there is no such weapon that is swung. Let's talk about the ability itself. There is a slight delay from the activation to when the tornadoes manifest, and a slight delay from the second the tornadoes manifest to when they actually start affecting enemies. The attack animation is extremely long, but it allows the player to regain control of their player for its duration. However, there is a decent response time delay from the second the tornadoes appear to when the player can actually regain control of their character. As shown in the Soul Core video, this can be used to hit multiple enemies on all sides of the player, but it can also be useful against larger and giant enemies. Despite it being able to deal fire, water, lightning damage, and subsequently also being able to inflict scorch, saturated, electrified, and confusion, because it does not have one set element, the game treats it as having no elemental affinity and therefore surprisingly allows us to benefit from Shirohami's poison and Itokiri's paralysis on yokai ability hit. Due to the quantity and frequency of hit, this can actually be extremely powerful at inflicting all ailments mentioned. Meaning, this can be put to great effect with effects that grant an anima bonus on infliction of an element to recover the anima used to activate the soul core, especially paralysis, which can be inflicted multiple times within a single cast, as unlike the other ailments, it is removed when the target gets hit, thus allowing them to be inflicted again. Keep in mind that subsequent hits from the tornado will undo the paralysis effect, so it is much better used to keep yokais in the paralysis loop than against single target enemy humans. However, the tornadoes expanding out progressively can be a double edged sword in which they can move outside of the range of the target, thus not knocking them out of paralysis. However, this is not a very cost effective way to use the soul core considering how expensive it is. While using Nightmare Bringer, you are still vulnerable to grabs. I make great effect with the Nightmare Bringer Soul Core by using it against Gyuki, waiting for him to activate the Dark Realm, then breaking his ki, using the Soul Core to also help me break his maximum ki to bring him down into the winded state, and then effectively combining it with the Medusa powder to put him in the paralysis loop. On top of the fact that obviously inflicting him with multiple elements also inflicts him with the confused status and the saturation status, also increasing the amount of damage that I deal while he's in this paralysis loop. And with multiple effects that give me anima bonuses on him being paralyzed, I can effectively keep my anima recharged to replace what I use when I use the
yokai ability and end up finishing him off.